Hi, everybody. This is Tamara from Moogly, and we are live. It is somewhere in the middle of May. Let me turn the volume off my phone. There we go. It is May 14th. We almost made it to the Ides of May, and I hope you have been having a great May on your end. Mine has been crazy busy. I feel like I'm just kind of skidding in sideways here this morning. I have been spending my last 8, 9 days at H+H Americas, which is a trade show for the fiber arts and sewing and thread and fabric and quilting and all that really fun stuff. Basically, all your favorite things from the craft store, right? It's an amazing trade show that happens once a year in Chicago, Illinois. I'm very lucky that it's close enough for me to drive, and I was able to spend 8 days up there going to the conference, doing some pre conference things. I participated in something called the Creator Summit, where I got to be on a couple of panels and speak to other professionals, people who work in this crazy industry we're in. And it was just been a really amazing time. The last couple days, I was able to relax with a couple of friends, kick back, get some crocheting caught up from the week before. And now I am home and my brain is full, as is my schedule. I have so many things coming up to share with you guys, so many things I'm excited about that are happening now in the world of crochet, but also things lining up for 2026. I am just so excited. It's so fun to go to these things and sort of talk to your people and get reinvigorated, right? It's a wonderful experience, and I am so happy I went. Of course, it's not the end of my travel for this year, but it is my big last sort of like professional event. So, lots of cool things to show you. I'm going to spread them out over the next couple months, some things to give away, some new things I want to show you, and we'll get started on some of those today. So, hi, Julia and Marta and Sue Ann, and everybody who's watching live and everybody who's watching later. We love it when you watch later too. Thank you so much. Julia, yes, thank you so much for mentioning. One of the exciting things that I got to do at H&H Americas was go to the fashion show. And because I work a lot with GoSadie, and I've talked about them before, and I'll keep talking about them, it's an amazing site, gosadie.com. Just go check it out. If you knit or crochet, just go check it out, believe me. Anyway, I've been working with them quite a bit. I love their software and their program, and they were able to give me not only a front row seat to the fashion show, but I got to see one of my designs walking on the runway on a real life model. It was designed for a book, so it's not my size, it's model sized. And it was just an amazing experience and such an honor to be able to see that walking the runway. So thank you so much. I'm afraid my video recording of it wasn't the greatest because that's when I got so excited, but it was just like I say, it's such an honor, such a fantastic thing. And, one of those things you never imagine you're going to be able to do, right? So thank you so much. Hi, Paulette. Thank you so much for joining us. So, like I said, I've been at H&H, so I've got lots of cool new things to show you. I'm going to be dropping over the next few months. Lots of fantastic new yarns, some exciting things in store. But of course, we've got lots of things that have been happening here as well. So let's jump back to that for a minute. We've got to show off the latest crochet along square. This is block number 9, courtesy of Creations by Courtney. And look at this square. Isn't it pretty? Now, when I crocheted, that's the fun of this square. It could go any direction, right? Like, is it this way or is it this way? Is it this way? It's up to you. However you put it in your blanket. And of course, a blanket, right, is going to get turned every which way. I actually have to stop and look at it for a second to remember, okay, this is the way that I actually crocheted it. So I was able to do just sort of 2 colors at a time. I think that's Merlot, Mallard, Boysenberry, corn silk, and Merlot again. Of course, mixed in with all of my black. I did use a lot of my black on this one. I'm going to have to be more judicious with it in my coming squares since it is a stash buster. But I do love the way this one turned out. And like I said, I love the way you could turn it this way, and it's also a really cool design. It is definitely omnidirectional, and this is what the back looks like. You can see why it took me a second to really look at it before I held it up. Talk about a reversible square. This is a lovely pattern. I could definitely see doing a whole blanket of these, expanding this into a whole blanket, and it's just a lot of fun. You can see it's a really nicely solid square. Your toes aren't going to poke out the holes of this one, and it's just a lot of fun. Lots of color possibilities. I'm seeing lots of great ones in the group, as always. I love seeing what you guys make. So for this year, I'm using up my stash, or at least a good portion of it, of my red Heart with Love. I always like to use a good worsted or Aran weight acrylic to get a 12-inch square for ours. So that's what we've been using. So that is our latest square. The next one comes out tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow's Thursday. Yes. And I have to stop and think about where we are in the week. Yes, tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow will be block number 10, and I am so excited. I know this is a fan favorite every year, big one, and I am just super excited for you guys to see it. I'm really excited about how mine turned out, and it's one of the ones I love seeing you guys do. So if you've been doing the crochet along for a few years, you might have a good clue. You might have an idea who it's going to be. So we will see. We'll find out tomorrow. So what else has been happening? Of course, the May crochet along, the spring seller sweater, which I am wearing right now. You can see today I wore it with a higher shirt than I did before for a slightly different look. And of course, on camera, you can't quite see it all. I'll hop a little bit up here and you can see. And this has been worn a few times now. I got to wear it at H+H Americas while I was on the panels. I wore it on Tuesday of that week. So that was a lot of fun. The other days I was running around a lot in the Chicago heat. It got quite warm inside, so I needed warmer clothes, or excuse me, cooler clothes. But this is a really lovely sweater. It is actually, if you're not running around like a lunatic, very breezy. You can see it's pretty open here in the weave. And I really enjoyed wearing it, and I got lots of compliments on it. I want you guys to get compliments on yours as well. So with that said, parts 1 and 2 are out now, along with the video tutorials, both right and left-handed. So part 3 will go up on Friday. Now, one thing, I did have one lady, and I don't know if it was one lady or two who wrote to me in 2 different places, which is fine. That happens, and I'm glad she got a hold of me. I had one lady who did purchase the Ravelry version and wasn't getting notified or wasn't able to get the part 2 updates on her Ravelry PDF. It's in there. That's the only one I see. It should be there. So if you too are having trouble, please send me a message on Ravelry. Let me know, if something's going on goofy with the Ravelry system, it's not updating. I've been adding the new PDF as we go, but technology, right? I can do what I do on my end and we'll see what shows up in real life. So if you're having any issues with that, please do let me know. We will absolutely get that straightened out, even if I just have to email you the PDF, okay? All right, so that's going on so far. Like I said, I'm really excited about what I'm seeing so far. People have been making this sweater. People have been getting gauge. Now remember, if you don't get gauge, try blocking it. See if you're blocking. When you're blocking it, are you getting gauge? It is a very oversized loose sweater, so I'm not overly worried about a fitted fit for most people, so to speak. But you want to try and get, obviously, as very, very, very close as you can. So this sweater is made using Bernat Softy cotton. And right now we are halfway through the tutorials. I was going to hold up this skein, but it's still attached to half the project. There we are. This is what's left of the second skein I'm using in the tutorial. Luckily, I've got a few more. Again, that's Bernat Softy cotton is what I'm using. It is a DK or a light free weight cotton acrylic blend, which I really love. I'm a big fan of a cotton acrylic blend. It just feels really nice to me on the skin. Feels really soft and breathable without that plasticky feeling. You know what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm using, but I'm sure there's lots of really lovely yarns that people are going to make this with, and I'm excited to see those as well. All right. Oh, hi, Marianne. So glad you were able to join us. And hi, Maggie. Thank you so much. All right. So what else? We have, of course, the Blueberry Twist crochet headband right here. Let me sure it's right side out. There we are, that I demonstrated in a recent tutorial as well. You can wear that over the hair, under the hair, however you like to wear it. This is a very, very simple pattern, great for crochet beginners. If you're somebody who's just learning to crochet, or if you're somebody who's looking for a simple project and you want to whip up a bunch for craft fairs or gifts this winter, it's very easy to adjust this for literally any size. And I think the way that these twists come together at the end is a lot of fun and pretty unexpected. So it was fun to show that in a video and in the tutorial as well. So I hope you'll check that out. I will have a knit version of that coming a little bit later this summer. I know, a knit one for me, wild, but every once in a while, every couple years, I like to put out one maybe really simple knit pattern, and that will be my one probably for 2025. What else? We have, of course, so many things in front of me. I have to find things. We have the Babé crochet hat templates. If you haven't heard me talk about these before, then you're probably new here. But these are one of my favorite tools for crochet. This is a set of 11 pieces this is like a really nice quality plastic. Plastic can seem like a dirty word these days, but this is a buy it once, buy it for life item, okay? It is meant to last. You're going to buy one set of these, and as long as you don't lose it, you're going to have this one set for the rest of your crochet career and possibly pass it on down to your grandkids. These are going to last. They're not going to rip. They're not going to tear. They're not going to get torn up. I don't think you could probably draw on them if you wanted to, but it won't hurt them. They are super high quality. It is a set of hat templates. Let me hold up this right here. It's a little glary, but you can see the size range, 0 to 3 months to extra large adult. And what these are for is when you make crochet hats, and I firmly believe knit too. I'm going to experiment more. I don't knit very often, obviously, but I don't see any reason this wouldn't work for knit as well. Basically, when you go to make a hat from the top down, if you've done it before, we generally start by making a flat circle and then working evenly in rows to create the length of the hat. The flat circle is for the crown. It creates sort of the circumference, if you will, of the hat, which should match the head or be just a hair smaller or oversized if that's the look you're going for. With these templates, you pick out the template for the size you want to make the crown to fit the circle, then make the length to fit the length of the template. Boom, you've got a hat that fits. No more hats that, could double as big baskets or turn out far too small. You're trying to make a hat for a 3-year-old and you end up making a hat for their preemie. So these are just a fantastic product. Like I said, I've been using them for years. We just finished up another crochet along with them. I've been working with Isabel, who invented them. And now I'm very excited to say that it is the only crochet tool we now carry in the Moogly Etsy shop. I'm an official reseller. Just because it's a product I genuinely believe in that much, we have gone ahead and put them in the Moogly Etsy shop. I will ship them to Canada and the US. And Isabel, since she's in Europe, she handles all the European sales. So that's sort of how we've split it up in order to make it a little bit easier and hopefully more affordable for everybody. Like I say, it is genuinely one of those buy it once, buy it for life tools. One set of these, you're going to be able to make hats for the rest of your life that fit, whether the person is there or not. So it's great for charity, gifting, craft fairs, family, anybody who likes to crochet hats. So that is enough about those. That's happening now. I'm going to keep mentioning them because, like I say, I just think it's a fantastic tool. Other fantastic tool I've gotten a chance to try out lately is the Knit Pro Mini Bouquet Interchangeable Knitting Needles gift set. It's a mouthful, but they are so tiny in comparison to their name. Look at this. This is the tiny little box set. Let me pull these open for you. It comes in this really cute pouch. And this is something we've got a giveaway going on Moogly right now. Because most of my audience crochets, and this is a knitting giveaway, you've got really good odds on this one. But inside the pouch, you've got, and I think I've still got a set out because I was using them. Yep, I was still using one set. You can see we've got all these tiny little interchangeable tips. Little needles like this are so great for arm cuffs, sock knitting, things like that. Here's the set I was using. I was making tiny little washcloths, which is a odd little hobby of mine. I like to make little face cloths to use, and I use it as an opportunity to practice my knitting. So in addition, of course, to the needles, you can see there's a pouch here on the back. And in that pouch, you'll find all the other stuff you need, the cords, the ends, the stoppers, as well as a couple of stitch markers, or those long stitch holders, I should say, for knitting, all in this really cute bag. So this is a wonderful little gift set. I know we just passed Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. But, if you missed Mother's Day, or if she's got a birthday coming up or anything else this year, this is a really lovely gift set. You can see it even comes in a really, really, really nice box, even an attractive box. So lovely set. Got lots of links to that as in the giveaway if you want to go ahead and just buy a set, or you can take your chances and enter the giveaway on Moogly. What else? We also have the Yarn Inspirations and Stitch Up Chicago giveaway going on. I don't think I've gotten a chance to show that off yet here on camera, and it's big enough. I'm worried about it hitting the microphone, so bear with me. Here we go. I don't want to knock over my coffee either. Here is a tote bag courtesy of Stitch Up Chicago, which is another event I went to early in April. I put myself a sticker on it so I wouldn't forget. But this is a bag full of yarn that I am giving away. All of this yarn is from Yarn Inspirations. It was yarn left over from the show that they let me bring home to give to one lucky winner. So we've got a great big skein of Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo. We've got 3 skeins. You can see these are still in the package, so I'm sending them to you just as new as it can be. Didn't make for great photos, but I want you to have the best. So this is 3 skeins of Red Heart Granny, all-in-one granny square. Let me get it right. And these are in the color Soft White Rainbow Sherbet. So get an idea of what those look like here. And then this is fun. This is something I hadn't actually seen myself until I went to Stitch Up Chicago. They've come out with a new yarn, Karen Colorama Lacy. And again, this is in the package, and I didn't want to take it out of the package because I want the person who gets it to be able to, box or unwrap their own yarn. But let me hold it up here, see if we can see it through the wrapper. Do you see that? It's like a ribbon, like a lacy sewn ribbon almost. Well, I guess that's why they called it lacy. But it is truly a very unique yarn. So I'm curious to see what sort of patterns are going to come out for this. I think it is very interesting indeed. It is, let's see if I can see through the bag here. Like I said, I wanted to keep it all wrapped up for the winter so they get the very best condition. This color is rose. It's a 5. It's a bulky weight yarn. That's interesting. Oh, here's a good look at the label on this one. 85% acrylic, 15% nylon, 361 yards per cake. That's pretty good. And it looks like it's machine washable. So this is a 5-weight yarn. Very interesting stuff. They do have a picture on the cover of the yarn label there. Looks like maybe it's a knitted top of some kind. So very open, very light, very lacy, very interesting yarn for summer. So altogether, there are 6 skeins in here. You can see it fills up this tote bag, and I'm going to be shipping this out to one very lucky winner. So that giveaway is happening right now as well. Yes, it does look interesting, doesn't it, Marianne? I agree. That is an unusual yarn. Hi, Rosa. Thank you so much. I'm glad you were here. Okay, what else? So many things. And so many of these things are big, too. The Volare pillow. I remembered to bring it down this time. If you guys have been curious about this, I have been giving it a whirl. I like it. It is a big piece. Like if you're somebody who moves around the house a lot when you crochet, it's probably something you're going to want to leave in one spot. Unless you just like carrying stuff around with you. I am the kind of person, I'm going to pick a place where I'm going to crochet. I'm probably going to leave it right there, which is why I keep forgetting to bring it right here on camera when we do these lives. That said, I do enjoy using it. I've also had it mentioned to me that it looks an awful lot like a boppy. If you've ever been, a mother in the past, I don't know, when my kids are 18 to 23 now, and I'm very familiar with the boppy. So I'm assuming it's still out there and around. It is genuinely very similar. This one, I think, is bigger. It's been a while. Like I said, that youngest one just turned 18, so it's been a minute since I've used a boppy. But this one is bigger, but it is definitely a very similar idea. It is meant to put around your waist, and it lifts your arms and your shoulders and takes the tension off your arms while you crochet. Can you achieve the same thing with a couple of, pillows judiciously placed around you? Absolutely, sure. But this is a fun and handy way to make yourself more comfortable. And it's not just for crocheters and knitters. It is also for gamers or anybody who's using their arms a lot and suffers sort of that shoulder and arm fatigue and hand tension. Theoretically, taking care of those things will even out your tension and make you crochet better, and of course, give you better arm and hand health. So, if you are interested in the Volare, I do have a 15% off code, and I do recommend you use the 15% off code because why not, right? It's not an inexpensive item. It's definitely a luxury crochet or gamer item, but if it's something that looks good, if it's something you've been looking for, if it solves a problem you have, then definitely use my link so you can get 15% off. I do enjoy using it. I do find it very comfortable to use. But like I say, if you're interested in it, be sure to get your 15% off. Alrighty, what's next on the list? Hi, Patricia. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. The Strucket. So many things I got to try out this month. This is kind of cool. I've only done one video about it so far, but I can imagine I'm going to keep using this, even if I'm not using it on camera. Again, another big thing. Let me move some things so I don't knock my coffee over again. Here it is. This big boy is the Strucket, and it is a bucket with a strainer. You see how they got the name. So there's this strainer bucket inside the solid bucket, and this strainer bucket actually hooks on the side. So you put it in here. When it's time to block or wash your hand knit, your hand crochet items, put them in here with your favorite fiber wash. I've got some recommendations on it for another time. But you put your favorite fiber wash in here, swish it around, rinse it if need be. Then when it's time, you can just lift this up, and this hooks right over the side of the bucket itself. So no arm strain, relatively little arm strain, just enough to get the bucket up and hooked on, and then you can let it drain. And then, of course, I've got it around on the other side, but there's a plug in the bottom of the solid one. So you can just open that right up. Let's see if I can do it backwards. There we go. Whoop. There we go. So you just pull that right open and it drains right out. So it's great if you like to drain your buckets outside, to use your wastewater to water your garden, or if you're just opening it up in the sink to let it go. You're not having to lift that heavy bucket and turn it over and strain it. And as we all get older and, a little more worn out, having little tools like this can be so handy and helpful. We're talking about saving our arms for the crochet and knitting, right? Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt your back while straining and washing your handmade things. And of course, it's handy for all sorts of things. Anything you want to wash and strain, I think would be great. So I'm going to have to very carefully guard this. I have not had a dedicated bucket of any kind for washing my hand knit or hand crocheted things in. So I'm very excited to have this. I really did enjoy using it. I washed the batwing lace sweater in it right away. Probably one of the biggest sweaters I've crocheted. Not an easy one, but it did a beautiful job, and I really did enjoy it, and it made it a joy. You still have to, of course, squeeze the water out at the end and lay it out flat to dry. But in terms of the washing portion, I really did enjoy using this. I didn't have to clean out my sink ahead of time or, find an old bucket around the house and try and remember what it was last used for. Now I've got a dedicated bucket just for my knit and crochet items. So I'm very happy about that. And once again, that's called the Strucket, and I have a link for it along with everything else I'm talking about today on today's post. And I'll be sharing that probably a few more times because I really did enjoy using that. And they're not paying me to keep showing it. I really do enjoy using it. So I think it's a good product. Yay. So I hope you guys will check it out. I mean, it's a bucket and a strainer, but you put together all those little features, the plug and everything, and it is a good solid product. It doesn't feel like cheap plastic. You know what I mean? It's nice and sturdy. So I'm a fan for sure. All right. So now the crochet along updates. Besides the Moogly crochet along, I'm participating in 2 more crochet alongs right now. It's the year of the crochet along for me, maybe. This year I'm also doing, so far, at least for the next couple months here, I'm doing the Jimmy Bean's Wool Blanket Kit Club crochet along. Loving it so far. Just finished the May kit last night. Late last night. So this month's color, let me get the right exact name, was Spruced Up. Pull out my instructions here. I've balled up what's left after finishing this kit. This is a really beautiful dark green color that we got this month. And that's in the Beanstalk Worsted by Jimmy Bean's Wool. And then for the Kit Club, our new additions, let me show you all the new bits we've added. So on our first stripey section, we added this dark green stripe here and a little bit more blue. And can you see that's that beautiful diamond cable pattern right there in the green? So this is what our first stripe section got added to it. And then our second stripe section, turn it around here, we added this section right here, sort of this dotted blocks section. Isn't that beautiful? Look at all these amazing color patterns, all included in this blanket. I am fascinated about how the stripe sections are going to end up coming together. All of a sudden, they have the same stitch count. Big moves this month. All right, what else? We have always some blocks, and we didn't add to a lot of the blocks this round. I think most of the blocks were done, but we did add a little bit to this one that we started last time. Now it's got a beautiful green border to it. And then we made a whole new block this round. Oh, and there goes my bag. But there we go. This one is really pretty. It needs a bit of blocking. Like I say, I just finished crocheting these last night, so nothing's been blocked. But you can see there is this beautiful flower just right there. I need to pull it out a little bit with blocking to see those beautiful petals, but this is a really fun one. I am really enjoying all the gorgeous colors and everything. Oh, don't worry, honey. It's good. Sorry. Jeff's all worried that the bag fell over and caused problems, but it's okay. Anyway, it just tipped. So those are the squares so far. You can see this one actually took the time to weave the ends in on. I've definitely got lots more ends to weave in. But this is where we're at so far after month 5. So very exciting, very intriguing. Never done a blanket that comes together quite like this before, where we work all these pieces so separately. And I am loving all the different stitch patterns that we're exploring. Some of them I'm familiar with, some of them are all new to me. And I'm just loving seeing how the designer, Lena, how her brain is bringing everything together. It is really a really fun pattern. And the great thing about joining the Jimmy Beans Wool Crochet Along is that whenever you join, they start you out with kit 1. So you've seen some sneak peeks here for sure, but you always start with kit 1 and then it just goes from there. So you're never too late to join. You can jump on in, at least as long as they have them for 2025, right? So that's that one. And then there is the Knit Collage Crochet Along. I showed you guys, I unboxed with you, I believe last time, the kit itself for that crochet along. I'm making the Flow State cardigan, and this is how far I've gotten on that one. Whoops. This one I am definitely behind on. I have wound up the yarn from the hank into a cake, and now I need to make my gauge swatch. When I was out of town last week, I was really hoping, but let me tell you, I was going from 7 or 8 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night most nights, and there was no time to pick up a hook or a pair of needles. So I am going to be making the next thing on my agenda. I've got a couple things, but one of them is definitely getting the gauge swatch made so I can get going on this Flow State cardie. It is a beautiful pattern, and I'm very excited to get started on it, even though I'm behind. So sorry, Knit Collage. I will get caught up on that one soon. Definitely on my agenda for the rest of this month. So that's my update on that one. Beautiful yarn, also beautifully caked up. So I will get on that one next. So now, sneak peek time. Let's see. All right. So many fun things from H+H. Like I say, we could be here for hours if we went over everything that I got at the conference this year. So I thought we'd start by just showing a few things every time, at least until I run out. So here we have the tote bag. This was fun. This is the H+H Americas tote bag that I got to sort of, I don't want to say help. I filmed her making it. Nadine, who works with H+H, was there, and she was showing us, this is sort of a cool sublimation technique. It was printed out on a Brother printer, and then this was just basically one of those heat press machines that pressed it right in. But I don't know if you can tell, this isn't like just an iron on. The ink goes down into the fabric. Isn't that cool? So sublimation and printing and stuff isn't really my craft, but if you're interested in it, they show that at H+H too, and that was really cool, and it was fun to be able to see the bag for me get made right there. So that was fun. So I thought this was a fun bag to put things in. So I thought I'd start off by showing you 4 of my favorite new products that I found there. One of them isn't new to me, but I'm just so excited to have another skein of it. I'm trying to get enough together to make a big project. Bad Sheep yarn. Check this out. Isn't this gorgeous? What a beautiful skein of yarn. Bad Sheep yarn, lovely indie dyer, Marcy, wonderful lady. Marcy and Britt from Not Bad Brit also helps out with the company. Marcy is the dyer, I believe, and the owner, and her husband, lovely people. And look at this gorgeous yarn. I've been showing off their yarns for the past month or so. This one is called Bayberry, and it's a fingering weight one. Look at those colors. I am so excited. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm waiting for it to tell me, but you guys tell me if you've got ideas, because this yarn is so just, I'm just in love. It's so beautiful. So just had to show off one of my favorite new skeins of yarn. And then this is a fun product I got to try out on the show floor, and she gave me a little sample to bring home. This is Scented Stitches Stitch Balms. So this is kind of interesting. This is like basically a little balm, moisturizing balm that you put on your finger where your yarn runs over. So it keeps it soft, it keeps it from getting irritated, and it imparts, she says, just the barest hint of scent to your yarn and your project. So I had some questions, right? I wanted to know, how strong is it? And I wanted to know what it would do to the yarn. Is it going to leave any sort of residue on the yarn at all? And she did say, if you want to use stuff like this, you wouldn't want to use it with like a paper yarn, anything like that. anything that's not, wool or cotton. So you do have to be somewhat careful with what fiber you use it with. Most of us aren't crocheting with raffia on a daily basis, but if you are, your fingers are probably sore. And unfortunately, you'll have to wait till you're done crocheting to use this. But for the rest of us, she said wool, cottons, she hasn't noticed any issues whatsoever. Her customers haven't noticed any issues. And it really does smell lovely. And it's going to sound weird, she had me feel her finger where she tensions her yarn. And it really was really nice and soft with no divot. So she just gave me a tiny little sample. I think this is probably sold mostly in, yarn stores and things, but she does have a website, which I've linked on today's post. Oops, there we go. So lots of little samples. At this trade show, besides designers like myself and yarn companies, there's a lot of local yarn stores. This is where the local yarn stores actually go to do a lot of their shopping and decide what they're going to stock in their stores. So it is really interesting to get some behind the scenes looks at things that aren't even out yet. And one of those is something called Silk Milk by Unicorn Fiber. This is brand new, something they just put out. And unicorn fiber is my favorite type of fiber wash. That's the brand I use when I use my Strucket. When I just put something on a blocking board and I spray it down, I use unicorn fiber brand fiber wash and fiber rinse. They're my favorite brand for those products. They're the one I'm most familiar with, and I really do enjoy their products. So this is a brand new one called Silk Milk. And their explanation of what it does is for blocking, spinning, and combing. It's a blocking, spinning, and combing milk for all types of fibers. What it's supposed to do is sort of control static and flyaways and let things lie down flat, right? I'm wondering if it wouldn't also work as a wrinkle reducer, as just a blocking thing to help the fibers relax and lay flat that way. So that's not something they've tried as much. It's definitely something I'm going to be trying. Gonna see if it works also as a wrinkle reducer for travel, right? Because I was in town, out of town for a week, and my stuff came out of my luggage looking a mess. So I'm very excited to give this one a try. I really like their products so far. They always smell really lovely, but not too strong. I am sensitive to scents myself. So new Silk Milk by Unicorn Fiber. So I haven't even found it out for sale yet anywhere. I linked to their website. I'm assuming it'll be out soon, but something fun to try for sure. Yes. Oh, yes, Julia. Love Bad Sheep Yarns. Marcy is so creative with colors. Oh my gosh, she's fantastic. And such a nice person, too. If you ever get a chance to meet her in person, I'm very lucky that I've been able to see her in person twice now, and she is just literally a delight for sure. Hi, Donna and Catherine and Sarah. Good morning from, we'll say, Middle Eastern Iowa. All right, you're in the Northwest. I'm in the Middle East. All right. This is the last thing I brought over to show you guys today. This is a cool new product from a company called Lemonwood, and you may have seen things like this before. Lemonwood, I met the lady and her son who invented this product. There are lots of knockoffs. We're just going to put that out there. You know it, and then once you see it, you'll know it too. It is a neat thing. And like I say, they claim to be the inventors with a patent pending. So, Lemonwood. We have this disc, and they come in lots of designs. I chose snow monkeys because these cracked me up. That's one piece. And then we've got this piece right there, which matches. We put this piece through this hole, and then we can put our yarn on it. Now, did I manage to bring a piece of yarn over here? You'd think I'd be surrounded by it. This one isn't going to work. Let me find one. Well, of course. Here we go. It's a little messy, but you can take your ball of yarn and put it right on there. And then we've got our handle. We put our handle right there. It's got a carabiner type clip. It's not a carabiner, but whatever those are called, snap clips. Put that right on the hole, and there we go. Now you can put your wrist right through there and crochet wherever you are, or knit, or stitch, or punch needle, whatever you're using your yarn for, all right there from your wrist. Now, obviously, grab a skein that's a little more put together than this one. This is a real messy leftover that I found right here. But you can see, you can walk around like this. You can also, of course, hook it from anything, hang it from your rear view mirror when you're parked, hang it from your glove box when you're moving. when you're the passenger, not when you're the driver. But it is just a really, really handy thing. So again, Lemonwood, patent pending on these yarn minders for sure. So lovely people, lovely, lovely couple of, the mom and son pair. And the designs are really fun too. And that is, that's half of it right there, the super fun designs. So I believe to take it apart, you would pretty much need to take the handle off and then you can just lift your yarn off when you're done. And it, of course, all comes apart again to store flat in this handy bag. So lovely people. The lady Veronica, she used to own Dream in Color Yarn, which I believe is now sort of under the Jimmy Bean's Wool, Madeline Tosh, that family. But now she is doing these. So Lemonwood, lovely people, lovely designs. So many fun things. They're not all crazy snow monkeys. Those made me laugh. So I liked the snow monkeys. But there's lots of floral designs and rainbows and all kinds of, very formal and fancy things as well. And some fun stuff like snow monkeys. Like I say, they made me laugh and I just couldn't resist. But so I've got that. I'm going to have to get this wound up along with some of my other Bad Sheep yarns again. Just look at that. Is that not? I can't believe they were just letting me take this for free from the Creator Summit. Gorgeous stuff. So exciting. And of course, I'm excited to give some new products a try as well and let them know what I think. And I'll let you guys know what I think because I think they're going to be pretty great. And I've got lots of knitting to do in my future as well. And some crocheting, of course. I've got some fun new things in progress for all of you as well. So the next thing I really want to let you guys know about, or sort of the last thing for today, is that the Chain Space Retreat is coming up in July. And that one is July 24th through the 27th. And that is in Reno, Nevada. And I will be one of 3 instructors. It will be myself. And ironically, today, everybody we're talking about, Courtney from Creations by Courtney, who designed our crochet along square, will be one of the other instructors. And then the third instructor will be Lena Skvagerson, who designed the Jimmy Bean's Wool Blanket Kit Club. Now, that's none of that's what we're talking about at it. We're all teaching other classes, but it's going to be, like I say, 3 great designers, 3 great teachers, if I may be so bold as to put myself among them, and a really lovely location. We're going to be able to explore Reno a little bit, see Jimmy Bean's Wool, and I've been to Reno a couple times now, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm not a gambler or anything like that. That's not why I go. I just think it's a really fun town, really lovely location, great air conditioning, even in July. So I hope to see you there. It's going to be a much smaller retreat, maxes out at 100 people. So it's going to be beautiful and intimate and just a really lovely break, I think, for all of us there at the end of July. So that's my next thing coming up, and I really hope to see you there. Other than that, I think that covers it for today. So thank you so much, Marianne. I appreciate that. And thank you all so much, Sarah, Catherine, Donna, Patricia, Rose, Tanis, Daniel, Sarah, everybody who's here, Rosa. Thank you so much for joining me live. And thank you, all of you, for watching later. Again, you can get the links for everything I've talked about today on today's post on Moogly, which should be linked in the description. And I will see you again May 28th for another Moogly Live. Talk to you later. Have a great day, everybody.